There is a blueprint for wealth that most people never hear about. It's not written in textbooks, it's not taught in schools, and it's not shared in ordinary conversations, but it exists. And once you understand it, your life can never remain the same. Wealth doesn't begin with money, it begins with mindset. Too many people believe that riches are for the lucky, the gifted, or the chosen few. But the truth is, wealth flows to those who are willing to think differently, act boldly, and discipline themselves where others hesitate. The blueprint is hidden in the way you see opportunities, the way you value your time, and the way you position yourself to serve others. Think about this. Money is nothing more than a certificate of performance. It measures how much value you have created in the marketplace. If you focus only on chasing dollars, you'll always run out of energy. But if you focus on becoming valuable, on solving problems, on bringing transformation to people's lives, then money will chase you. That is the secret most people never uncover. The blueprint requires you to stop trading time for money. Because as long as you trade hours for dollars, your income will always be capped. But when you learn how to create systems, when you learn how to multiply your effort through products, services, investments, or skills that work for you even when you are not present, that's when you begin to step into true wealth. And yes, it requires faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your ability to grow, faith in the unseen results that come from consistent action. Wealth doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who are willing to build when no one is watching, sacrifice when others are comfortable, and believe when everyone else doubts. The blueprint is also about relationships. Wealth flows through people. If you isolate yourself, you cut off the very channels through which blessings come. But if you serve, if you uplift, if you add value to others, doors will open that money alone could never buy. People are the bridges to your destiny. And finally, you must recognize that wealth is not only about money, it's about freedom. Freedom to live on your own terms, freedom to give generously, freedom to create a legacy that outlives you. The wealth blueprint no one tells you about is this. Wealth is not a number, it's a mindset, a set of habits, and a decision to no longer live small. Wealth begins with mindset, not money. This is where everything starts, and it's the part that most people overlook. When you think of wealth, the first image that comes to mind may be stacks of cash, luxury cars, or big houses, but those are the results, not the roots. The root of wealth is found in the way a person thinks, what they believe is possible, and how they choose to view their place in the world. You can give two people the exact same amount of money, the same opportunity, even the same connections, and yet within a few years, one will be thriving while the other is struggling. Why? Because it is never just about what's in your hands, it is about what's in your head. A poverty mindset can waste a fortune, but a wealth mindset can create fortune out of nothing. A wealth mindset begins with believing that abundance is available to you. Too many people live their lives under the shadow of limitation, saying things like, I can't afford that, or that's only for rich people. When you think that way, you shut the door on possibility. But when you begin to ask, how can I afford that? How can I create more? How can I grow into the person who attracts wealth? Your brain starts to work differently. You move from excuses to solutions. You move from scarcity to creativity. Another part of the wealth mindset is responsibility. People with a poverty mentality wait for someone to rescue them. They look to the government, to their employer, or to luck. But people with a wealth mindset take responsibility for their future. They say, if it is to be, it's up to me. That shift alone separates those who remain stuck from those who build extraordinary lives. But it's not just about positive thinking, it's about disciplined thinking. A wealth mindset recognizes that money is a servant, not a master. People who lack this understanding often let money control them, either through fear of losing it or desperation to have more. But when your mindset is aligned, you control money. You tell it where to go. You make it serve your vision rather than allowing it to dictate your choices. It also requires vision. If your mind cannot see beyond survival, then wealth will never have a place to flow. People who create wealth see opportunities that others miss. simply because their vision is bigger. They don't just see a problem, they see a business idea. They don't just see a job, they see a platform to grow. They don't just see risk, they see reward. That comes from training the mind to see possibilities where others see obstacles. Perhaps most importantly, a wealth mindset is resilient. Setbacks come to everyone. Loss, failure, rejection, none of these are permanent unless you accept them as such. The difference is that a wealth mindset treats setbacks as feedback, as a learning curve, as fuel for the next attempt. Instead of saying, I failed, it says, I learned. Instead of quitting, it recalculates. This resilience is the foundation upon which wealth is built, because without persistence, no strategy, no opportunity, and no idea can survive long enough to produce results. When you adopt a wealth mindset, you stop measuring yourself by where you are right now and start measuring yourself by where you are capable of going. That shift changes how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, and what risks you are willing to take. You begin to act like a steward of your future instead of a victim of your past. And slowly but surely, your external reality begins to match your internal reality. The truth is, anyone can have money for a moment, but only those with the mindset can keep it, grow it, and multiply it. That is why wealth always begins with the mind. Money is a reflection of the value you create. It's not random, it's not accidental, and it's not unfair. Money is a measuring stick of how much impact you have made in the lives of others. When people exchange their money with you, they are not paying for your time. They are paying for the value you brought into their lives. This is the shift that changes everything, because once you understand it, you stop chasing money and start chasing impact. Think about the wealthiest people you know or see in the world. They are not simply people who work harder than others. There are millions of people who work long, exhausting hours and remain broke. The wealthy are people who have figured out how to solve problems on a bigger scale, serve more people, and make life easier, better, or more enjoyable for others. That is why money flows to them. If you want more money, you must ask yourself, what problem am I solving and for whom? The larger the problem you solve and the more people you solve it for, the greater the financial reward. Someone who sells water on a street corner might serve a handful of thirsty people and earn a few dollars, but someone who builds a water purification system for an entire city can transform millions of lives and build enormous wealth. The difference is not luck, it is the level of value created. This understanding also frees you from jealousy. When you see someone successful, instead of saying they're just lucky or life is unfair, you realize they found a way to create more value. And instead of resenting them, you can learn from them. How did they think? How did they position themselves? What value did they bring that made them indispensable? Value comes in different forms. It can be knowledge, skill, creativity, encouragement, leadership, or even just the ability to connect people. The more you sharpen what you have, the more valuable you become. Too many people want to be paid more without first becoming more. But the truth is, if you make yourself more valuable, the market cannot ignore you. Employers, clients, and even strangers will seek you out because value is always attractive. This principle also explains why shortcuts don't last. Someone might stumble upon quick money by chance, but without the foundation of value creation, that money disappears just as quickly as it came. Lottery winners, for example, often go broke within years because they never develop the value mindset. On the other hand, someone who understands how to create value can lose everything and rebuild it again, because wealth is not what's in their bank account, it's what's in their mind and hands. You should also understand that value multiplies when it's systemized. If your value depends only on you being present, then your income will always have a ceiling. But when you find a way to capture your value into products, services, or platforms that can reach more people, suddenly your income can expand without limit. A musician records one song, but that song can be streamed by millions. A teacher writes one book, but that book can educate generations. A business builds one system, but that system can serve thousands. That's how value turns into wealth. So instead of asking, how can I make more money? Ask, how can I create more value? How can I solve more problems? How can I make people's lives better? Money is simply a byproduct of the value you contribute. And when you shift into this mindset, you stop worrying about income because you know that as long as you keep creating value, income will follow. Stop trading time for money. Build systems that multiply. This is one of the greatest shifts in thinking you will ever make on your journey to wealth. Most people are taught to exchange hours for dollars, go to work, put in time, and receive a paycheck. But this approach has a ceiling because your time is limited. No matter how skilled you are, you can only work so many hours in a day. True wealth requires finding ways to break free from that limitation. Trading time for money is like carrying buckets of water. Every day you work hard to fill them, but the moment you stop, the water stops flowing. Systems, however, are like building a pipeline. At first, it may take more effort, more planning, and more sacrifice, but once it's in place, water keeps flowing, whether you're standing there with buckets or not. A system could be a business model, a product, an investment, or even intellectual property that keeps generating returns long after the initial work is done. For example, a musician records one song, but that song can earn royalties for decades. A business owner sets up a franchise model, and each branch generates income without the owner needing to be there. An investor buys real estate, and the property produces rent month after month. These are all systems that multiply time and effort. The danger of relying only on trading time for money is that your income becomes capped. Even if you earn a high hourly rate, you still must be present to earn it. But what happens if you get sick? What happens when you can't work? Your income vanishes and you return to survival mode. That's why wealthy people don't just work for money, they build vehicles that make money work for them. Building systems requires thinking long term. It's not always comfortable at the start because systems often demand investment of time, money, creativity, and energy. Many people of us audit because they prefer the instant gratification of a paycheck. But those who are willing to delay gratification and build structures reap the rewards of freedom later. Another critical part of building systems is leverage. Leverage allows you to multiply your results without multiplying your effort. Technology is leverage. People are leverage. Capital is leverage. If you try to do everything on your own, you remain small. But if you learn to leverage tools, teams, and strategies, your reach expands beyond your personal capacity. This principle is not about avoiding hard work. In fact, it may require more effort in the beginning, but it's about working smart, channeling your energy into building something that lasts. Instead of constantly hustling for the next paycheck, you focus on creating a pipeline that continues to deliver. The goal is financial freedom. Freedom doesn't come from working endlessly. It comes from systems that allow you to step back and still see income flow. That freedom then gives you the ability to think bigger, serve more people, and create even greater impact. The truth is, wealth is not built by working harder, it's built by working differently. And the sooner you stop trading time for money and start building systems that multiply, the sooner you step into a life where your money works harder than you do. Faith and consistency are the foundation of wealth. The path to success is never smooth. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and moments of doubt. That is why faith is not optional, it is essential. Faith allows you to see beyond your current circumstances. It empowers you to believe in outcomes you cannot yet see. Without faith, every obstacle feels like the end. With faith, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. Faith begins with belief in yourself. If you don't believe you can succeed, no amount of strategy or opportunity will matter. Too many people sabotage themselves because they carry doubt like a heavy chain. They quit before they even try, or they give up at the first sign of resistance. Faith breaks those chains. It whispers, keep going. The result is coming. You are capable. But faith alone is not enough. It must be paired with consistency. Consistency is the daily commitment to take action, even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up when no one is watching. It's doing the work when results seem invisible. The world rewards consistency because consistency compounds. Small steps taken daily lead to massive results over time. Think of a farmer planting seeds. At first, the soil looks the same day after day. Nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. If the farmer gives up too soon, he will never see the harvest. Wealth works the same way. Your efforts may not pay off immediately, but if you keep sowing, keep watering, and keep showing up, eventually the harvest comes. Consistency also builds trust. In business, in relationships, and in personal growth, people don't trust what you do once in a while. They trust what you do consistently. Consistency creates reliability, and reliability attracts opportunities. Faith gives you the vision, and consistency turns that vision into reality. Without faith, you won't start. Without consistency, you won't finish. But when the two are combined, they create unstoppable momentum. This is why many never achieve wealth. They either lack faith and never begin, or they lack consistency and never finish. But those who hold on to faith during the dry seasons and those who keep working with consistency even when applause is absent eventually stand among the wealthy. Wealth is not built in a moment, it's built in momentum. And momentum comes from faith and consistency working hand in hand. Relationships are the channels through which wealth flows. No one succeeds alone. Every opportunity, every resource, and every breakthrough is connected to people. Wealth is not just about money, it's about networks, trust, and influence. The right relationships can open doors that money alone cannot. Too often, people underestimate the power of connections. They try to build wealth in isolation, relying only on their own ability. But isolation is the enemy of growth. Relationships provide wisdom, encouragement, accountability, and access. A single conversation with the right person can change the trajectory of your life. Relationships are built on value, not on neediness. People don't want to connect with someone who only takes, they connect with those who also give. If you want strong relationships, focus on adding value to others. Serve, encourage, support, and uplift. When you pour into others, you create bonds that last. Wealth also requires aligning yourself with the right people. The company you keep determines the mindset you adopt. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, doubt, or settle, you'll eventually adopt their patterns. But if you surround yourself with people who dream big, take risks, and strive for growth, you will rise to their level. Many breakthroughs in wealth come through collaborations and partnerships. One person may have the idea, another may have the resources, and another may have the connections. When these strengths combine, results multiply. Wealth flows fastest where there is unity and cooperation. Relationships also protect you. When challenges come, your network can provide support, advice, and solutions you would never find alone. Sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know that makes the difference. But relationships must be nurtured. They require consistency, honesty, and authenticity. You cannot expect loyalty if you only appear when you need something. True wealth builders invest in people, not just in money. At the end of the day, wealth is about more than personal success. It's about legacy. And legacy is always tied to people, family, friends, communities, and generations to come. If you build money and lose relationships, you've lost the true meaning of wealth. But if you build both together, you create impact that outlives you. True wealth is about freedom and legacy, not just numbers. Too many people chase money for the sake of money. They think wealth is a number in a bank account or a luxury lifestyle. But numbers alone don't guarantee fulfillment. True wealth is measured by freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to spend time with loved ones, to pursue your purpose, and to give generously. Freedom is the ability to say yes to opportunities and no to limitations. It's not being bound by debt, stress, or lack of options. Financial freedom is powerful because it gives you control over your time, and time is life's most valuable resource. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. But freedom is only part of true wealth. The other part is legacy. Legacy is what you leave behind when you're gone. It's not just about inheritance of money, it's about inheritance of values, lessons, and impact. A wealthy person is not only remembered for what they accumulated, but also for what they contributed. Legacy asks, what will my life stand for? What will I leave in the hearts and minds of others? It's about creating something that lasts beyond your lifetime. That could be a business, a foundation, or simply the example you set for your children. Chasing money without freedom leaves you exhausted. Chasing money without legacy leaves you empty. But building wealth with both freedom and legacy makes you fulfilled. It gives your success meaning and makes your journey worthwhile. The blueprint of true wealth is not about chasing endless numbers. It's about designing a life where you are free and where your impact continues long after you are gone. That is the wealth no one tells you about, yet it is the only wealth worth pursuing. The wealth blueprint no one tells you about is not hidden in some secret vault or locked away in the hands of the elite. It's within your mind, your actions, your faith, and your willingness to rise above average. Wealth is not a destination. It's a transformation of who you are and what you believe is possible. If you choose to think bigger, act bolder, and stay consistent, then wealth will not just be something you chase, it will become something you attract. And remember this, your future is waiting for you to decide how wealthy you're willing to become.